Hi, Susan Blue Robot here from susanbluerobot.com. I'm here today with another card making video. Today I'm going to make the snowflake white on white with the foldback method plus the clip to clipboard method. I'm using Make the Cuts Pop-Up Card Studio, and I'm going to make this card. If you notice that just in here is the rest of the card. In my case, I've made a little dotted perforation, and I'll go through that and to why I have mine so thick, and we'll get started. So what I've got here is a 5.5 high by 6.5 wide. So this is 5.5 high, and that's what size it's going to be when it's cut and folded. So really the paper will be 11 inches long. Apply. Now what we do is we're going to make a snowflake like this. I thought I'd go through the process. I can go and surf on Google to find a snowflake, but I want to also show you how easy I make my snowflakes. First off, I bring in a star of 6 points. Use this one. Then with that selected, I do an inward shadow of -5. I go accept. Maybe I might do an inward shadow of more than. Move this over here out the way, and we'll go. Okay, we'll go accept. So that's 9.75. And now we bring in a square. When I bring in my squares, instead of going to get a rectangle all the time, all I do is hold the control key down and I can make it a rectangle. And I'm going to stick it out a bit, not as wide. Now I select lasso all those three pieces and go S for stack. Now what I do is get the pencil tool, hold the control key down, and go click there, drag it down in there, and once again click and drop it over there. Now with that one, I do a shadow of, say, about maybe 5. We check that. Yep, that looks good. 5.5. Accept. Okay. Now what we do is we select, we throw away that little line that I drew to get the shadow off it. Cut. We select that. We go copy. Then we lasso all of these. And we go flip, mirror, and we go paste in place. Now we have them both ends. We hold the shift key down, select that one, and the shift key down and select that one, and we go weld. Now we go copy that, paste in place, and the one we just pasted, we rotate that around, and we go paste in place again, and we rotate this around. Now we hold the shift key down, select all of those lines we just did plus the outside star. we go weld. So we've now welded all them. We go select all by lassoing the two pieces now, and we do a join. And then we have the way I do my snowflakes. Okay, so now, and the reason I make the snowflakes from scratch, then I know that these lines on the snowflake are going to be a perfectly flat. If I brought in a snowflake and did a trace, I can't be guaranteed that these lines are going to be perfectly straight. So now what we do is we go copy that to clipboard. Now we bring this across to our project. We go on a 2-inch plane. That means our project is going to be folded at the 2-inch mark, and our snowflake is going to pop out 2 inches. And we go paste. Now, I want the orientation of this. You hold the control key down when you're moving the arrow keys to take it around. That gives you more control over how far you want it to go. You can it overrides any snapping or anything. And we want that on the orientation so the lines are down. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to work with this line here. This top solid dotted line is where you go up to so it doesn't pop out the top of the card. This first dotted line, the little thinner one that's not so prominent, is the 2 inches from the back of the card. So this is what we're going to be working on. Now I've got to line my middle of my star up to that, but I want a bit more hanging over here. So I will take this, I'll make this bigger, maybe smaller, because what I want is when I line this up, I want it so these two pieces of the snowflake aren't attaching to the bottom, but I want this part of the snowflake hanging over. So now it's ever so slightly more, not too much. And of course I've turned my snapping down to 1 1/28 of an inch. Okay, so that's what I want. Now, before you worry that, I've gone way over this line, that's okay, because what I'm going to do is I'm only working down here at the moment. Working that I want it in the center, and I want it perfectly there. Now, this is where I bring a temporary piece in. What I want to bring in is, we're going to throw this away before we make the card, but I want to bring in a square that is, because we're 2 inches from the back, I want to bring a square in that is 4 inches square. And I want to put that on the bottom plane in the center. And as you see, this is what we're going to have. Anything between this square here is going to be the foldback. This is the piece here that is going to be on the back of the card. So what we do is we grab the cropping tool, exclusive rec, delete to keyboard. This delete to keyboard has to be marked, because what I want now is you go from the under, and when you get the dotted red line, you go, let it go. Okay, so that's just deleted that. Now I want to go to the bottom plane, so I hit the space bar and I go to the 0 plane. 0 plane, and I go paste. select tool to get the paste selection back, paste. And I take that to the plane. So it'll take it to the next plane, which is that 2 inches plane. If I hit it again, it'll take it to the back. I don't want it to go the back to that plane. Okay. Now we leave that there. Then we go back to the 2-inch plane here. Okay. Now what we do is we want to clip the top. So we go, make sure it's exclusive rec and click the clipboard. And we make sure we get the dotted red lines. We go, that's gone now. That's to clipboard now. We no longer need this square. You hit the delete key on your keyboard. Don't hit this, don't click on this because you'll put that in clipboard. But if you hit the delete key, we delete that square. We no longer need that. Now we select this and we do the fold back. Fold back to the back of the card. We go accept. We go to the 0 plane and we go paste in place. And then we put that to the next plane down, which is the star. Okay, now that's starting to, we'll turn this to portrait. Now that's starting to look like we want. The only thing is, these are going to cut out these 2 things. So if I do a print preview on that, and this is the thing, you'll think, oh, well, that's fine, it's on the bottom. But it's just going to be, the whole, at this point in time, the whole thing is going to cut out. Now, we go close. Now, if we bring this, no, I'll give you a good thing is go back to the normal mode, but in landscape, so you don't get confused. Now, if we take this up, no, if we zoom in here, now what I do, I'm still on the 0 plane. What I do here, now there are many methods to this. Okay, I'm not saying this is how you have to do it. This is how I do it. Okay, what I want to do now is I want to do a little dominant perforation-y dotted lines around here. So what I do is with that selected, I go shadow and I do a shadow of about 0.01. I go accept. Then what I do is I select those 2 and I do a join. Okay, so now what we have, now you don't have to keep going to preview, but I want to show you that it's still going to cut out. So you can have more pieces and just looks like a snowflake in your card. So now what I do is I go, first off, I crop this so it's down. So now they're above it. Then I just use my inverse eraser and I just go all around. No. No, I don't. I use my eraser and we'll take that down to about 0.6. And I add I don't do it exact because I And the reason I don't take it in to make the cut and let it do a line style is because I don't want my lines to be exact. I just want it to cut every now and then. I don't want the dotted lines to be on the very center of the snowflake end. I'm not going to sit here with a ruler going, oh, that's not right, that's not right. So now what we have, if you just noticed, I just did the eraser on them. Now when I cut it out, the print preview, it's just going to cut to here, do a couple of little slit lines all around here, and you're still going to have the fold line here. So you end up with this here. It's just my preference of what I like. You can try other ways, but it's just showing that you can use the cut to clipboard and the fold back feature to make your card. Now, we'll go to the bottom plane, 0, and we'll do the same here. That's selected, I go shadow, the same shadow, accept. Now I select both of them and I do a join. Then first off I'll do a clip so I can get rid of the bottom bit so it's not touching the folded line of the other one. And then I use my erase tool no second thoughts. Now what I do is I go back to the plane that I was on. I have to be on the right tool, select tool, back to the 0 plane, and with that selected I go copy. Now I hit the space bar, bottom plane, 0, and I do a paste, flip that and just leave it there for the moment, and I go and select these, push delete button, and I go down to the bottom plane, which will take it down to there, and then I have to tweak it back just ever so slightly. And we put that in place using the arrow keys and your personal preference as to where you think it looks right. And there we have our cut. We'll take it back to portrait view so you can see it. So then now what I do is I turn it into an SVG, and I use the help 012 backgrounds for my cards lesson from my blog at susanbluerobot.com, and I make my backgrounds that way. And when I cut my background part out, I run it through the embosser with some snowflake embossing folder, and then I just lay that in to the card as it's made. I hope this helps. This has been Susan Blue Robot at susanbluerobot.com, and if you'd like to purchase Make the Card or Pop-Up Card Studio, you find a link below this video or on my blog at susanbluerobot.com. I hope that you enjoy making this sort of card. Remember that this delete to clipboard will come in lots of use over your play with Pop-Up Card Studio by Make the Card. Thanks for visiting. Bye.